All right. So like Finway said, I am Zach Runyon. I am one of the instructors here at Erskine Green, and I take the hospitality and restaurant programs.
And I'm Sarah, and I teach the hospital and then also the front desk programs.
And there's pictures of us.
That's us.
Okay, so a quick overview of what we're going to be talking about is the two different training programs that we have in our hospitality program. And the one that Sarah teaches is the front desk agent, which is a 13-week training program. And then I teach the heart of the house, which is also a 13-week training program. Some certifications that our students receive in the hospitality jobs that we have here at Erskine Green. So Sarah's students would be getting a certified front desk representative through the American Hotel and Lodging Association. My heart of house students receive a certified guest room attendant through the American Hotel and Lodging Association, which has to do with like housekeeping. And then both of our programs get a certified guest service gold certification through the American Hotel and Lodging Association. And that's something that we're able to teach both of these groups together at the same time, since it deals with interacting with guests and handling different situations that would occur within the hotel. So is there anything else you want to add to that?
Just that that's a program that we teach through, and then there's a test that goes along with it, and we send that off to the American Hotel and Lodging Association. And if the students, if they get, is it 70 or above, 70%, I think?
75, I think.
75,
Yeah.
Then they would get that certification.
Mm-hmm. So the first program, or the first training program I'm going to talk about, is the heart of the house. And it's a 13-week training program, and it's offered twice a year. It's offered session 1 and session 3 of each year. And it covers 4 different jobs throughout the hotel. And I'm going to kind of dive deeper into those 4 jobs here in a second. But those 4 jobs are laundry attendant, linen runner, guest room attendant, and houseman. So the laundry attendant is basically in charge of identifying all the linens and towels in the hotel, folding all of these towels in the hotel, operating the washers and the dryers in the laundry room, and then sorting between dirty towels and linens. They have to be able to recognize, like, if there's a stain on a sheet or a pillowcase, and that needs to be sent through and washed a certain way. It takes them a couple weeks usually to learn the different types of linens and towels inside the hotel before they start to learn how to fold them. And then that actually kind of ties into the next job, which is the linen runner. So this is where the students would actually take the folded laundry, towels, linen up to each floor and store them on each floor, so that the housekeepers don't have to go all the way down to the laundry room to get these items. So they transport linen and to each floor of the hotel for housekeeping, and they store them in their designated location on each floor of the hotel. Here's a couple pictures of former students doing this job. The next job is guest room attendant, or better known as a housekeeper. So the skills that we learn as a housekeeper are identifying different types of rooms. There are king, queen, and suite size rooms here at the hotel. Our students learn how to make the beds, clean the guest bathrooms, and then clean the rest of the room. And then they also learn how to load and stock a housekeeping cart so that they have all their supplies that they're going to need for the entire shift throughout their day. And then the last job in the Heart of the House program is the houseman job. So they clean all areas of the hotel besides the guest rooms, because that's the responsibility of the housekeepers. They're able to identify and use all cleaning chemicals and equipment. So some equipment examples would be a squeegee up in the top right picture that one of our former students is using to clean windows, and then a mop and a mop bucket and a wet floor sign would be another example of equipment used. So they mop and sweep the hotel. They clean, mop, sweep the fitness room, swimming pool area, the hotel lobby, and the stairwells and the windows as well. And they're also responsible for cleaning and vacuuming each floor and wiping down all the windows on those floors as well.
My turn.
Your turn.
So the front desk program is also 13-week program, so we offer it twice a year also. So with front desk, we train mostly at the hotel front desk, but then we also have a lab back in Erskine Green where we have access to the same computer program that they use. So we learn to use that back there, and then we practice different scenarios with the students in the back. So I've got some pictures of different parts of the job here. We also are partnered with the YMCA, which is just across the street. And the students get to work and intern at that front desk also, just to get a little bit different experience. So front desk is obviously going to have a lot of guest interaction. So you're learning how to greet people as they come up to the desk, answering questions, checking them in, checking out, all of the functions of a hotel. A little bit of money handling. So you see the cash drawer in that picture there. That would be mostly like giving change if someone would buy something at the market. Occasionally somebody will pay for their room with cash, but there's not a whole lot of cash handling. But that's another part that we practiced back in the lab, is just counting the cash drawer and then practicing giving back change. Answering phones, that's a big part of working at a desk. You get a lot of questions from outside calls, but then also from guests calling from their hotel room that may need something from housekeeping. So then our students will make a note of that and pass that along to Zach's housekeeping students. Stocking the market. So we have a small market right next to the front desk. So that picture there, part of their job during the day is to restock that. So that's what he's doing there. And then we do a little bit of just kind of front desk office type skills. So a little bit of computer work, Microsoft Word, typing, and then like that middle picture there, we also learn about how to put together packets or binders or folders. And so when the students leave, it's not just hotel front desk that they can work, and they've got a lot of skills that can generalize to any sort of job in that type of setting. The picture on the left there is the students with their certifications that they earned after they took that test. They get that certificate, and then they'll also get a pin that can go on their collar.
Wait, real quick before we move on to that one,
Yeah.
you kind of touched base on this. I think it's extremely cool to see your students learn their job and then work at the front desk and have to interact with my students who are
Yeah.
working throughout the
Yeah.
hotel. So that's something that
I
we
like that too.
really, yeah, we really look forward to that during the internship process at the end. It's just really neat to see them interact and be doing their jobs independently and just kind of doing their own thing. So
yeah, like the housekeepers towards the beginning of their shift will go in with go check in with the front desk agent, like to see, I don't know, get the list of different things and whatever.
yeah.
And then whenever a student buys something from the market, I like seeing that too.
Yeah. So before we open it up to questions, if you want to know more about these hospitality programs, you can go to www.egti.org and then go over to our programs tab and go down to training programs. There are videos and descriptions of each program that we have within the hospitality training programs here at Erskine Green. So Finway, I think we can open it up to questions.
So we've got one question that is wanting to know if they can do both of them. So how many programs can you do at once? Can you do more than one program at the same time? Talk a little bit about that, if you could.
So what I would suggest is doing a career sampling session first to see which job may be the best fit for you. Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to have you in both of these 13-week programs at the same time. So you would have to make a decision on which one you would wanted to do, unless you came for 2 different training programs and did 2 different jobs. That would be the only way that would work.
Which we've had a couple students do that, but not often. I can only think of 2 right now.
Yeah, and I think one of them did the same program twice. So yeah.
And typically VR, if VR is funding for the student to come, they'll typically only cover one program, and then the other would be self-pay.
I don't see any more questions.
So let's talk through maybe some of the skills that are needed for some of the positions. So what are some great skills that an individual would need for a front desk um, position that would also be covering customer service and all that? So what are some things an individual may need to work on to have mastered?
So front desk is very customer service guest related. So being able to communicate with the guest or whoever it is that's coming up to the desk or on the phone, being able to answer questions and interact well with a guest that comes up. And that's something that we teach and practice. So if that's something that's harder for you, it's okay if you don't feel like you're perfect at it, because that's something we work on, but that would be something that you could be practicing if you're interested in that. Money handling, just basically being able to count dollars and like bills and change, being able to count the cash drawer at the front. You would count that at the beginning of your shift and then at the end of the shift, and being able to count back change. Let's see, basic computer skills. So typing we like to use, it's called howtotype.com. And that is a good way to assess your typing speed, and then also to practice. So if you don't feel like you're a strong typer, that's something that you could get on and be practicing in the meantime if you plan to come or if you're wanting to come.
Great, that's awesome. We do have a question that just came in. Excuse me. Is a certification the same as what a worker getting hired at a hotel would work toward? In other words, is the certification needed in order to get employed or stay employed at the hotel, or does it give the student an edge in getting hired? So both of you have certifications that are taught within your program. So talk about what those certifications do for the students and why we are teaching the students that and proctoring that exam.
So it's not something that's required to get the job, but it is, yeah, it does give them like an upper hand when they go in for an interview and they have that on their resume. So like for my students, they get a certification in guest room attendant. So they've been certified as a housekeeper. They understand everything that goes on their carts. They understand the difference between a checkout versus a stayover room. They know how long it should take to clean each room. They know about all the different cleaning chemicals within the hotel that they would need to use in order to clean these rooms. And they understand each part of the room that needs to be cleaned. So I usually teach this or go over this exam while we are learning about the housekeeping stuff, because it really just brings up everything that I need to talk about anyways. And then certified guest service attendant is something that Sarah and I do together, teach together for all of our students. And this just really means being able to interact with guests, being able to give guest directions or help a guest if they need it, and just knowing how to respond in different situations. So like I said, it's not required, but it definitely gives them an upper hand for sure.
Yeah.
Great. Let's see if there's any other questions that come in. So on the website, you can see it right there that Zach's got on the screen. You can see under the programs tab, there's the training programs tab there. And there it has the hospitality programs tab to where you can go in, like you talked about. There's videos, video vignettes. They're also on our YouTube channel that you can go in and see exactly what that job entails along with that like job description. So those are great opportunities if you are working with a client, a student, or you yourself are looking into it and want more details of what the job looks like. So some of these positions, so hospitality, so we're talking about front desk agent, heart of the house program. What are some of the programs or other positions? So Sarah, you've talked about you're over at the YMCA, students, they're working on customer service. What are some other positions that you've seen some of our students after they've graduated have gone into to the job workforce and got after graduating from here?
Help me if you think of any specifics. I know we've talked quite a bit about gyms with students that might be interested in maybe working at a Y or a Planet Fitness or something like that. That front desk job is going to be similar to what we do at the front desk at the hotel. Any sort of like a school where they have a secretary at the front, or even at the hospital, they have guest relations that work at the front, and they're there to greet the visitors or the patients as they come in, and then they'll look up like on the computer to let them know what room number a patient's in, or take them there in a wheelchair. So that's a similar, kind of different but similar, where you're out front greeting people, answering questions. Those are some of the main ones that we've hit on. Can you think of any specifics that have ended up in different type jobs?
We just had one student that just took a job up in Lake County. She's working with a company doing kind of some
Yeah.
accounts receivables, accounts payable, I think receivables. So she's entering information into the computer system, maybe contacting a company, needing to get a bill, things like that. So what we are training here at EGTI, we're training specific jobs. However, there's so much that they are learning that is very, their skills can go in very different job markets. So for heart of the house, so housekeeping, that could also, if a student is training in the heart of the house program, we also have a program that's in environmental services that's over the hospital setting that Sarah teaches, and she'll talk about later at 4 o'clock. But that one is very transferable back and forth. It's cleaning, it's almost a housekeeping, just different settings. With the program that Zach's teaching, the heart of the house, that is very transferable to companies that go in and clean offices. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a cleaning position in the hotel. They are learning transferable skills, which is very important. And it looks great on the resume as well. So wanted to make sure that that was known, that the skills that students are learning are very transferable in so many different job markets out there.
We had one former student who started off working at a hotel when she graduated as a houseman. So she was responsible for cleaning all the areas of the hotel besides the guest rooms. And she unfortunately got let go during the pandemic, or the beginning of the pandemic, and has now found a new job at an LA Fitness. So she was able to take those houseman skills that she had learned here, work as an actual houseman, and then when she lost her job, she was able to seek employment again in a different style setting, and is doing fairly well. So
that's great. Some of you may have missed it this morning. We, when Megan talked about our program, we do 4 sessions a year. We have, at the end of this year, will be our 5th year up and going, and we will have hit over 200 students graduating from our program, which is phenomenal. And we are seeing that around 80% of our students are employed 8 months after they graduate from EGTI. So that's huge. I wanted to reiterate that if you weren't on the call this morning, where 80% of our students are graduated after they leave EGTI. Even 18 months after they graduated, it's 78%. So it's really high up there of the employment rate for our graduates. Many of them are in the departments that they graduated from. when they left, or the programs that they trained in. Some are in different programs, but they had those transferable skills that they could go into many different departments and career pathways as well. We don't have any other questions in the chat right now. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat in the next couple minutes, or send us an email at info@egti.org. Zach, Sarah, did we miss anything?
Trying to think. I don't know. Once we log off, I'll probably remember. It's usually how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So the one question we have right now is, can I work at both jobs, or do I have to pick one? So you would have to pick one of the programs that you're training in. So unfortunately, you can't do two at the same time. You would have to do the one program at that time. So you can't come back. You can come back and do another program if you've got the funding for it, but just one program at a time.
Unless Zach is doing night classes.
We have not started that.
No.
No.
12-hour shifts.
Well, we'd have to just split it up because it'd be patient or front desk and then heart of house. So you'd have to teach night classes.
Oh, okay.
Sarah, talk quickly about, so as a front desk agent, they are working the morning shift, night shift.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the various positions, even just within the front desk program. What does that look like?
Yeah.
Students that are training here.
So our usual class today is 8 to 3 when we first start, but once we get into it, each week we're focusing on something different. So like the week that we're learning to do check-ins, those happen later in the afternoon and evening. So our day might start later so that then we can do practices, the actual check-ins at the front desk at that time, or checkouts are in the morning. So we'll be working the early shift. So especially as we get to internship, the students are split up where we'll have one working an early morning shift, one will get the midday shift, and then one will get that later in the afternoon and evening shift. And we also touch on the night audit position. And we had a student, we don't always get into that, it's more of based on the student's interest. And we had one this past session that wanted to try it. So he was just set out to do the night audit one night for the first time, and I think he made it to about 1:30. And that shift goes until 7, so he didn't quite make it, but he gave it a try.
Night audit is a completely different ball game. I have done it in a previous job, and it's different. But many of our students, I think we've got a couple students that work the night audit at hotels, and they love it. And so it's not for everyone, but it is for many people, and they love it.
That one's way less interaction with people. So this particular student didn't like that because he liked the interaction. So
yeah, awesome. Well, I think we have covered everything that we need to cover during this session. So we are going to sign off. Again, if you have any questions, send us an email at info@egti.org. We're happy to answer those. And we will be back at 3 o'clock. We will be focusing on the restaurant program. So we will be back with Zach.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.